Welcome, everybody, to the Or Umbrella podcast. Today, we have a very distinguished and impressive guest. We got Tex Lonestar from Doomsday Wrestling. I wanted to talk about, first of all, I got a friend request many years ago from this guy in a cowboy hat looking much like the gentleman on our screen now. And I'm like, what in the world? And so I added the man and learned about Doomsday Wrestling. And I followed Doomsday Wrestling over the years. And let me tell you, it's bonkers. It's fun. It's interesting. It's a Houston-based wrestling company, and Texs is a big part of it. And so we are very excited to have him and learn about his story. I want to read a short bio that I found on the Doomsday website. It says, with the amazing athletes of Doomsday Wrestling, while the amazing athletes of Doomsday Wrestling fight it out in the ring, Tex Lonestar does a little wrestling of his own, but it doesn't involve headlocks and body stamps. He wrestles with feelings and emotions while he commentates all of the action you see taking place within the squared circle. He also, and this is so nice of you, so kind, washes all of the wrestlers' jockstrap and mops the locker room after every event. What a magnanimous and man of the people this Tex Lonestar is. So we are happy and excited to welcome Tex Lonestar underneath the Or Umbrella podcast. Thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. About mopping the locker room and washing the jock straps, let me tell you about the wrestling business. You can't be halfway in it. It's a 24/7 thing. You're either in it or you're not, and I'm in it. I'm in it.
You're in it to win it. Absolutely. Michael, you got the first question for us, sir.
Yes, I do.
Michael.
But before I get started, I wanted to tell you, Tex Lonestar, what a great name. Like, really. Hi, I'm Tex Lonestar. That alone it sounds so cool. So great name. Love it.
Thank you.
Absolutely love it. All right. So
Tex is short for Texas.
Short for Texas.
I like that.
Texian. No. Texian.
Anyways,
I'm derailing your interview. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, trust me. We have been in, out, up, and down with interviews. So we are in good territory right now, and we are going to start with a silly question, which we always do, Tex. And so the question is, who would your dream broadcast partner be, and why is it Marvin Zindler?
It actually is Marvin Zindler. That's a funny thing, and the reason he is my dream podcast, my dream co-host, is because I get a lot of complaints from past and present co-hosts that I talk so much that no one can get a word in. But I think that if there's anybody who could drown me out, it's probably Marvin Zindler. I think he's the only man. I mean, I would say maybe Patrick Swayze would be another choice, but I don't know if he has the. I mean, he can definitely command attention, but I don't know if he can out-talk me as far as blah 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 goes. But Marvin Zindler certainly could.
Absolutely.
We're old fans.
Mr. Tex Lonestar.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Slime in the ice machine, for sure. So let's talk about your early years, my good sir. What sparked your interest in wrestling at a young age, and who were some of your favorite wrestlers growing up?
Well, my wrestling fandom started in a very kind of a peculiar way. If you see this poster behind me, I don't know if you can make out what that is, but they're called muscles. These are little Japanese type that were released in the 80s. Millions of unusual small creatures lurking everywhere. How do I get that on screen? There you go. And they're all just this intergalactic tribe of weirdo wrestlers. And when I was a kid, I had this little wrestling ring that I made out of a piece of wood, some screws, and some rubber bands. And I had these huge tournaments with these muscle figures. And I had this elaborate coin toss system to determine who won and how they won. Did they win by disqualification? Did they pin? Did they submit? What? And then from there, I started watching wrestling on TV, whatever I could see, or whatever I could get on my TV, whether it be on cable or regular TV. The thing I was attracted to most was the goofiness of wrestling. I mean, I knew always. I don't have a memory of not knowing that it wasn't prearranged. But yeah, I'm sorry. by the way, folks. But the wrestling you see on
It's real.
TV isn't. So, but I was always attracted to the weirdness of it and to the goofiness of it. That two men could have this long-winded feud, but it only can happen when they're on TV. So by that rationale, were they fighting up and down the streets when they were traveling to each event? Like, were they constantly fighting in their cars, like trying to run each other off the road or what? And also just I love when wrestlers have like magical powers or they use supernatural attributes and stuff like that. When I watch wrestling, I don't want to be convinced that it's real. I'll just say that.
Absolutely. I with Halloween coming, I've been thinking a lot about Papa Shango lately. And, like, I remember, like, watching TV as a kid and Ultimate Warrior just all of a sudden, like, convulsing and seizuring and having black vomit come out of him from the voodoo curse. Yeah. It was, oh my goodness. That kind of stuff definitely attracted me as well. Oh, yeah.
And Halloween was yesterday, by the way.
It was.
Yes, it was. You just said you mean Halloween 2021 coming up? Yeah, that's coming up soon. But I'm just nitpicking.
I have no idea what I'm talking about now. All right, Michael, I'm gonna cast it to you.
Finally, you admit it, Jonathan. You have no idea. Thank you for that admission.
After I uncovered the truth.
It finally comes out. So we also know comedy is a big part of Doomsday Wrestling. What sparked your interest in comedy growing up? And what movies, TV shows, comedians, or others drew you in as a youngster?
Comedy, I'm not really I love to laugh and I love funny things, but I guess I've never been like a big fan of like stand-up. I've never been like an avid, like, oh, I love this guy's work or that guy's work. I mean, not that I dislike it. I just have never been a big follower of it. I always hung out with goofy people, and we always hung out. I like to think myself was pretty silly or pretty goofy. It's my attraction to comedy, and at least in regards to Doomsday Wrestling, is probably because I can't really wrestle, and none of my friends can. So how do we hide that? But with comedy, sort of. I mean, but it's also comedy's fun. I think it's a lot more fun to make people laugh than just tell. Like, I've been to some indie wrestling shows, and I'm not disrespecting indie wrestling, like independent wrestling, but a lot of it is just too serious for me, and I can't buy it, especially when you're in like a VFW hall with 15 people. It's hard to lose yourself in that when they're taking it so seriously. I'll say that. But no, comedy is just always, human nature appealed to me. But as far as the comedic scene, I've never had like I love comedy. I mean, I can name movies I like that were funny, but I don't think that so much influenced me to get into the world of comedy wrestling or Doomsday Wrestling. If that answers your question.
Oh yeah, very good
Absolutely.
Good. Thank you.
Perfection.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Let's talk about Doomsday Wrestling. Maybe tell us a bit about the history of Doomsday, how it came to be, and how it has evolved over the years.
Doomsday Wrestling, I'm supposed to tell you that it started in 1836 when Sam Houston crowned himself the first Doomsday Wrestling champion. But the behind the scenes story is in 2003, a few friends and I were at this coffee shop out on Westheimer. If you're in Houston, out on Westheimer in Montrose, there's a place called Helios, which is now called the Urban Art Bar. They had this patio in the backyard with this big stage that they never used for anything. And we thought, man, it's a shame they never used this stage for anything. We ought to do something. We ought to do some sort of show or something. I had been in punk rock bands before, but we weren't really doing that then. And I don't know, it was I was getting out of doing that. None of them really played live anymore either. so it wasn't really a good thing. But we wanted to do something. And these were those goofy people I was hanging out with. We wanted to do something that was silly, that was fun. And maybe we could do one time just to get it out of our system and then never do it again. And so we talked to the owner, and she said, yeah, you can book a show, whatever show you want. What is it? And then we thought, okay, we'll get back to you on that. And so we talked for a few days and said, let's do a wrestling show, but make it really silly, really absurd and totally unreal. And maybe 10 people will show up. Maybe our parents will show up, and that's it. And then we're done. Then we can go from there. my father built a ring for us. It wasn't really a ring; it was more like a platform with some 4x4s coming out of it with some ropes tied on it. You couldn't really bounce off the ropes; you just had to kind of lean into them and pretend to bounce off. My mom helped make a lot of the costumes, and surprisingly, not to pat myself on the back, but we sold the place out, and that was really awesome because we really no one to show up. Like we thought our mom is going to be here and that's it, like our parents. But good. And I was like, hey, when do you guys do the rest of the people? When do you guys want to do this again? And they're like, oh man, I never want to do that again. That was such a cool class. So most of them weren't. The people from the first show really weren't. Most of them weren't in any other show. There are a few guys who were there. And no, we just kept doing it, and we kept doing it more and more. We eventually got a real ring, that can actually bounce off the ropes. We got just got more and more cast members, more funny people, and just kept going from there. And in the olden days, in the early 2000s, we would kind of just do it whenever we feel like it. Like we'd do it maybe every 5 months. Before COVID, though, we were doing it pretty much monthly. So it was becoming like a monthly engagement, which was really cool. And we always had really good crowds and really loud, fun crowds. And I got to say, there's not a show I've done that I've regretted. I've never done a show and think, oh, that wasn't fun, or that didn't go off so well. Of course, I can look back and say, oh, I wish we'd have tweaked that part there, but everything I've been pretty satisfied with. So yeah, so it's been fun, and yeah, no, I hope one day when this is all over, keep doing it.
Absolutely. I think that anything that you have a passion about in life, and you have a big event like that, a culmination of your work and your promotion and everything like that, and you can walk away from it and say, I'm proud of what I did every single time. That's a rare thing. Like, that's a really rare thing, because we second guess ourselves so much. And so I'm really happy, and I think that's very inspiring to hear you say that, because it's a rare thing.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad to hear that from somebody like you. And yeah, I gotta say, I'm pretty lucky that I guess if I wasn't enjoying it, I wouldn't keep doing it. Because it's fun. It pays for itself. It's not putting me in debt, which is great. But I look forward to the next one, and I always have and I always, at least if I don't have a new idea, then someone in my cast does. So we can always keep going. I never feel like I'm getting bored with it, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
All
right. So speaking of Doomsday, since that is the subject right now, if one has never been to a Doomsday show, what would one expect?
At a Doomsday Wrestling show, you can expect anything from an alien invasion to Satan himself coming up and challenging our world champion to the title. It's just a madcap wrestling show, paranormal. Nothing in it is to be taken seriously. We do have some pretty impressive athleticism at times. It's mainly the comedy that counts, though. I gotta say, most of our audience has a good time. I think we're pretty good at entertaining the audience in a silly fashion. I'm not saying it's highbrow, but it's definitely entertaining. So I would say it's a good value for your entertainment dollar on any of the Saturday nights that we perform at. I wish I could plug a show right now and say, in fact, one coming up right now, but I can't right now. Anyway, sorry, let me open this while I'm on screen to make things really awkward. Anyway,
we do awkward here.
So Doomsday Wrestling. So our slogan is "Violence has never been this funny." That's exactly what it is.
And we look forward to the next show, and we're going to talk at the end about how they can keep up with you, and because we're ready for all of this to go away so that we can go and have fun with each other again. But I think it's a respectable decision on your behalf to keep it away, because the last thing that we want is for somebody to have something and then somebody gets something. And it's a crazy time, but we're definitely looking forward to being able to have that fun again.
Yeah, me too. And yeah, we really want to do it, and we've actually gotten some offers and some contacts. Maybe you guys can do a show here and make it, we'll separate the audience. And I'm tempted to do that, but at the same time, that would still mean that our cast has to rehearse and practice this, which is also a risk, and beyond that, I feel like I don't know how well we could present ourselves with an audience that's, because you feed off that live energy, and if the audience is just spread out, it kind of diminishes that, And also, on a personal note, I really needed a break just any sort of break, and I don't think I'd ever taken one on by my own choice. So this kind of forced me to take a break. Although I'm more than willing right now to get back into it if I could, once this virus disappears or at least gets managed.
Right. Yeah, I think that's one thing that has been a positive. I mean, nothing is really positive when there's a lot of death, but one thing for our lives that is able to make a positive is we're forced to slow down and rethink everything and invigorate our creative juices and everything like that. So that's definitely a thing, a great thing. You're going to come back stronger than ever with new ideas that have been floating around your head. And so it's definitely a fantastic thing.
The cast have already floated so many plot ideas and concepts and all that. So it's definitely a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing in that regard, I should say. I shouldn't say COVID-19 is a good thing, but so don't on that. The way on the message boards. No, I'm kidding.
All right. Let's see here. So let's talk about your role in Doomsday as a promoter, as an announcer, as a performer. What are some of the most important things you try to emphasize in each role?
The most important thing of all of those, I can say, is you want to know the audience to know what you're trying to get across. You don't ever want to write something or execute or perform something that is only understood by you and three people or the people in your cast or the troupe. Like, you want the audience to be able to relate to it, because I've made the mistake in the past of doing something at, say, a rehearsal that makes everybody just laugh, but they're only laughing because they know me or it's an inside joke. Then when we do it live, it's like, no, everyone's confused by it. So you learn to put yourself in the audience shoes and as best you can, and try to think what they can relate to most to get a reaction out of them, whether it be laughter, whether it be a boo, or whether it be a cheer or a WTF moment. Just understand what you're going for and what message you're trying to put across. In other words, don't be selfish as a performer. Perform for your audience. There you go.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, and as far as promotion goes, you want to promote it in a way where people can understand it. That kind of goes in the same thing. Yeah.
Well, we get that too, because both of us have been in ministry for a long time, and a lot of times when we're doing a lesson or a sermon or something, and you're saying stuff and you're thinking, how do we relate to the audience? The last thing you want to do is talk about watching, Star Wars last week, and all the people who have never watched Star Wars are like, what are you talking about? Like, we don't get you, like being able to connect with the audience quickly, because it can't be like a long, big arc that people don't get. It has to be something they understand, especially if you're doing a live event. Right away they get what you're saying, and they know where you're going. So I think that's great.
The thing, a long arc, if I can expand on it for a minute.
Yes, please.
We've toyed with the idea of doing continuing storylines like throughout months, but I'm scared to do that because I don't think everybody goes to every show, and I don't want to do a show. I don't want to do a show that's 6 parts and then part 3 refers to something that happened in part 1, and people will be like, "Well, I didn't see that. I don't know what's going on." Granted, there is a bit of continuity in our show that you can catch if you have seen a lot of them. Mm-hmm. But if you haven't seen them, we try to where you can jump in at any time. But so pretty much we try to make each show self-contained. So I guess that also falls under the umbrella of making it relatable to an audience.
Very
I think
cool.
that's
all right, Michael.
Yeah. So one of the things that we love is your incredible fashion sense. It's something to be admired.
Thank you. Look, I'm actually on a revolving chair here. Maybe I can spin for you guys.
Whoa.
Look at that craftsmanship.
Custom made. Sorry, I'm against a wall here.
That is beauteous. And speaking of that,
sorry. You can edit that.
Oh yeah.
Stop interrupting each other.
I'm sorry. I said I'm not wearing pants though. I was kidding. I am.
Well, it's all good. Nobody knows in Zoom. You could, you could have bunny slippers on. You don't know.
I could have tank treads for legs. You never know.
Yeah. It's true. It's all true. So first of all, talk about your tremendous sense of style, and where do you shop?
These suits I wear. I just like to emulate Texas. I like to be grand. I like to catch people's attention. I don't want to wear the. For a few years, I wore the same suit like the whole time, But I wanted to change it up. Like this suit here, I actually rarely wear because I'm usually not thin enough to fit into it. But I've lost a little weight because of COVID. I've actually lost weight during COVID. I put on weight, which is odd.
Wow.
So I can almost fit in the thing now. But I hadn't been able to wear this thing probably in about 8 years. But but I put it on just for you guys. But the place I get these suits, I have a legion of tailors, amateur tailors, who apply all the appliques and all the rhinestones for me and everything. I don't go to one vendor. I usually luck out and find a suit somewhere, maybe at a resale shop, and it happens to fit me okay. Then I get it adjusted. Then I have somebody, add on all the flair and all the garishness. And the most expensive thing about my outfit is probably my boots, but that's that's the most I'll spend. This hat was actually purchased at a gas station, believe it or not.
Oh wow.
True treasure.
Yeah.
I mean that's one of the things though. Like when you're looking to have fun with what you wear, it doesn't always have to be Ric Flair. It can be like the Shockmaster. Type value.
The glitter trooper helmet. Yeah. That I can't believe they were gonna. If I can go off on that for a minute, were they gonna? It seems like they couldn't have done that very long. It seems like somebody would have told them to stop doing that eventually. Just using such a recognizable, iconic helmet. That's just what. But I guess it didn't get very far for obvious reasons.
Well, do you know what happened with the Shockmaster? Is
it fell over, right? Is that what you mean? The big trip? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
After that one appearance where he had that outfit, they turned him into a clumsy construction worker.
Oh, okay. I knew they tried to play up that he was clumsy, but so they changed the gimmick all to make him just a constructor.
Yeah,
was he still?
Huh?
Was he still called the Shockmaster?
Yes.
But he was a construction worker. Okay, well.
Wrestling doesn't have to make sense. That's the thing. They were just like, let's just throw ideas at the wall and see what sticks, and we'll just go with it. I mean, it's crazy time. I mean y'all get into that. I mean, does that happen?
What's that?
Does that happen with y'all?
Just throw ideas at the wall?
Yeah, I mean, do y'all ever do that?
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of our ideas, sometimes they'll be a bit joke. And like we want to do a show where called Montezuma's Revenge. You know what Montezuma's Revenge is? It's when tourists go to Mexico and they drink the water and they can't handle it. We did a show where we used to talk about this silly show we're going to do called Montezuma's Revenge, where everyone's going to crap their pants during the match or to the bathroom and this and that. But we never thought we would do it. It was just something to talk about. But we ended up doing it. And there was actually a character named Montezuma who came out who had the power to control everyone's bowels, and all the wrestlers had to band together to defeat him. And as they thought they had him beat, he unleashed his biggest weapon, which was Poopa Cabra, which is like a poop monster, and they had to fight the poop monster. And that is probably our most lowbrow show we've ever done, which is saying something. But yeah, as far as ideas sticking to the wall, there's a good example.
Literally sticking to the wall.
Literally.
You can make a lot of analogies with that.
Oh my goodness, that is good stuff right there, guys. If you haven't been interested in watching the Doomsday show yet, I think that's enough to sell it right there.
No, I'm sold.
Not all our shows are about poop, I promise.
Yes. What's the most? What was the one recently about? Like, was it the world's last fajita or?
Oh, that one. That we never got to do that
fried
one.
Steak.
Yeah, the last chicken fried steak on earth. That we never got to do that because of COVID. That was the one I think we were about 2 weeks away from doing it, and then the whole COVID thing happened. We had to cancel it. That's of course we'll be doing that one. It's about the last chicken. Somehow all the chicken fried steaks on earth have been destroyed, and there's only one left, and everybody's kind of fighting for it and the power that holds. Which you can imagine the panic if that were to happen. Especially here in Texas.
In Texas, yes. That would be 10 times worse than any kind of pandemic we've ever had if we ran out of chicken fried steak.
That would it'd be a post-apocalyptic wasteland.
It would.
Say that.
It would.
Indeed. I want to fire off some names and characters from Doomsday over the years and who are there now. And I want you to just tell us about these characters for people who may not be familiar with them already. The first one is El Bano.
El Baño. See a little accent over there. That's the toilet-toting luchador, the brown yellow warrior. That's a luchador, which is Spanish for wrestler for the most part. He is a clean freak, and he does not like to use public restrooms, so he brings his own toilet wherever he goes. And sometimes it ends up in the ring. And luckily for him, the Doomsday Wrestling rulebook does not state anything about toilets being illegal, so he can use that toilet. For now, until the board of directors, changes the rules. But I think he's safe for now.
I'm glad he's safe for now. Hopefully justice for El Baño. Is that I get it?
Yeah.
There we go.
Toilet, come on.
All right. And next we have the Hot Flash. This is one of my favorites.
Hot Flash, the menopausal mauler. I believe she's 59 years old right now. She is the oldest wrestler in Doomsday Wrestling right now. She can no longer reproduce, but she can give birth to victories in the ring. Hot Flash, the menopausal mauler.
Tremendous. Oh my goodness. And then one who just really seems to be one who's gets under your skin a lot. Monty Del Monte.
Oh, Monty Del Monte is currently my co-host, much to my chagrin. This man is so low that he once created a GoFundMe to buy himself a waterbed. It didn't raise enough funds. Now he is just your prototypical used car salesman, slimy character. He's managed a few various wrestlers. All those relationships have pretty much fallen apart because he just can't be trusted, Monty Del Monte. He also claims to be the heir to the fruit empire of Del Monte, but I think he's lying.
Sounds like a real swindler to me. Now here's one that's near and dear to your heart. Your daughter, Charlene Lonestar.
That's right, Charlene Lonestar. She recently turned 16, and at 16 years of age, she's held more Doomsday Wrestling World Heavyweight Championships, I think, than anybody. She started 10 years ago in this sport when she was only 15. Now she's 16. But yeah, no, I couldn't be proud of her. I couldn't be proud of her. I couldn't be more proud of her. And it's everything a father could want in his daughter, a pro wrestling champion. I know. Do you guys have children?
Oh yeah,
he does.
4.
He's got 4.
Okay, are any of them world champions?
Not yet.
Pro wrestling champion? Not yet. Okay, there you go. I like that. I didn't want to give you the crushing news that I'm sorry, sir, but I got you beat as a father. But you said not yet. I like that attitude. I like that spunk. You're gonna get there one day. If I can get there, you can get there.
There's always hope.
Your parents in question here on your own show.
Well, it's okay. It's okay because I'm very happy with my children's current status.
That's good.
In terms of being able to beat people up. I'm pretty sure my oldest daughter, she was on her way to getting a black belt. So if she wanted to, I think she could probably have a future.
Hey, well, if you ever want to, just between two dads here, you want to get our daughters together, make a little money off this, have ourselves a fight,
I'm not opposed to using my children to make money. Trust me. So, take that as you want it.
Between you and me, but be sure and edit this part out.
Oh yeah, no, don't tell anybody. So, Jillian, don't listen to this.
All right, the next one we have is Animala the Untamed.
Animalia the Untamed. Think of Animalia. Yeah. Animalia the Untamed is she is a wrestler that was raised by a pack of wild dogs in Memorial Park. She was captured by her former manager, Willifred Wonder III, who she's currently divorced from. I mean, they weren't married. She just divorced from his managerial skills. She's off on her own. She foams at the mouth. She's rabid, but she is a former Doomsday Wrestling champion. So what we're trying to say is we accept all comers. I mean, you can be a feral woman. You can be a homeless robot. You can be a 16-year-old girl. You can be a plant. Doomsday Wrestling will take you. You do have potential to be a champion.
That kind of inclusion is what makes this state and this country truly beautiful.
Thank you.
Speaking of that, here's one that definitely might have taken some acceptance. The Lunchador.
The Lunchador. Okay, the Lunchador. The oh my God, the walking food coma. The Lunchador. He was definitely a crowd favorite for a while. He had a huge undefeated streak, totally undefeated, until I think I want to say he was finally he lost the title to a to a dying a sick orphan. He lost the title in Christmas around the holiday season to an orphan, and I think he let the orphan win just out of the goodness of his heart. So I don't think Lunchador has ever been defeated. But this man, he lives at the combination Pizza Hut and Taco Bell that you see sometimes. Lunchador as he orders pizzas during his matches. He's one to watch. He's a superstar to get behind.
Truly an appetite for greatness.
That was the catchphrase I was searching for.
All right, this one is honestly a little creepy to me. Dollface.
Dollface. Okay. Speaking of my daughter, Charlene Lonestar, on her 16th birthday, I wanted to get her a very special birthday gift. So I went on eBay and I purchased a very cheap doll. It said in the description that it was haunted. I thought, whatever, nothing's kind of going to happen. It turns out the doll was indeed haunted, and it would show up in various places around our 2-room apartment. We tried to set it on fire. We buried it in the woods. It kept coming back, so we had no choice but to give it a Doomsday Wrestling contract. Now it's one of our most popular athletes here at Doomsday Wrestling. So if you can't get rid of a haunted, send it my way.
That's
Absolutely.
like that. That's like that Talking Tina episode. Remember, like, I'm Talking Tina on Twilight Zone.
Thank you very much. Yeah, that's Twilight. I think Telly Savalas was on that one actually. Yeah.
Good stuff.
That's good stuff.
So unprofessional.
The next one we got Sister Blister. Now this seems very familiar as somebody we might have seen in our lives before, especially if we're in Catholicism circles.
Yeah, that's the she's our Doomsday Wrestling's current disciplinarian. She's armed with a ruler. She'll snap you on your knuckles, snap you in other places. She'll make you confess. She can pretty much dominate you in the ring. Sister Blister, one of the most formidable female wrestler, or just I shouldn't say even female wrestlers of all in Doomsday Wrestling, and currently a crowd favorite. She started off, not very respected by the crowd, but she's earned the respect. And why wouldn't she?
Why wouldn't she? Absolutely, indeed.
Sister Blister.
Speaking of earning a reaction, Twerkily, which is one of my favorite wrestler names of all time. Obviously, an ode to Hercules and the bodily functional dancing of twerking. And so, tell us a little bit about the man, the myth, the Twerkily.
Twerkily is the warrior that worships at the altar of the burning gluteus maximus. Twerkily has the most powerful buttocks in all of professional wrestling. He once powered a machine that cloned wrestlers with his own ass. We hooked him up to it, and he powered it like a generator. So Twerkily can definitely get it done in the ring. I have to say though, sadly, that what I just spoke of there when he powered that machine, that actually killed him. So we don't know if we'll see Twerkily again. Never say never in the world of Doomsday Wrestling.
R.I.P. Twerkily.
R.I.P. Twerkily.
Yeah, moment of silence. Moment of silence for Twerkily. Just 3 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
The next one we have. Now this is someone who this has to be the oddest friend request I have ever gotten on Facebook from an individual named Precious Jules.
Precious Jules.
Oh,
okay. Where do I begin with Precious Jules? I'm not really even sure what. I won't even say he or she or it. I'm not even sure if it's human. This being has shown the ability to multiply itself. It's shown the ability to resurrect itself after death. It's used mind control. It's actually used me as a vessel to speak through because I don't think it has a mouth. I don't think it can speak. It's possessed me briefly to speak to. It actually tricked me one time by dressing up as a beautiful woman, and I married it. I didn't know it was Precious Jules. We were wed in the ring. And speaking of, you know what, we never got a divorce, so I guess technically I'm still married to Precious Jewels. I need to do something about that, I guess. So we all got things we got to get around to. But yeah, Precious Jewels, multiple-time Doomsday Wrestling champion. It is an enigma wrapped in a conundrum surrounded by a riddle.
Very deep.
I like it.
And
what about
on Facebook? You're talking his Facebook profile. A birthday came around for it, and everybody wished it happy birthday. And its response was, "Thank you, but I really don't have a birthday." So I don't even know what that means. Like, has it always been here? I'm not sure. Yeah,
the enigma continues.
The enigma.
Yes.
The enigma continues as well. We got two more to shoot off here. Jofo looks like a very magical individual.
Jofo, the immortal genie. We haven't seen him in a while, but we need to bring him back. Jofo, in typical genie fashion, will grant wishes to his wrestlers, but usually that doesn't work out well for them because he's usually using it for some selfish gain. He once controlled time and space. We did a performance where a former wrestler of ours, Beefy Joe. Hey, Beefy Joe, if you're watching, he was granted 3 wishes by Jofo, and it all didn't work out so well. And at the end, Beefy Joe Jofo undid all those wishes, and time started over. So his powers, I would say, rival even Precious Jewels as far as professional wrestling go.
That's some serious battle. And I'm looking at my cat. My cat judges me every time I do a podcast. She's looking at me from a distance right now, and I think that she's very interested in Mr. Cuddles.
Oh, Mr. Cuddles. Oh, one of the most lovable, adorable wrestlers we have. He'll make biscuits right on his opponents, right between elbow drops. Mr. Cuddles, unfortunately for all the ladies watching, he is neutered, so sorry about that. He's just such a beautiful, special guy. Unfortunately, one of his opponents tried to declaw him during a match. We had to call Sarah McLaughlin right away. Sarah McLaughlin's favorite wrestler, Mr. Cuddles. I would argue, what's your cat's name?
Rogue.
Rogue, like the X-Men Rogue.
Yeah, that's what we named her after.
Yeah, I would imagine he would be Rogue's favorite wrestler also.
I would agree. I would definitely agree. Michael, you got the next question for us, buddy?
Yes, we know that we already talked a little bit that COVID-19 has kind of put a pause on everything, including Doomsday. But sort of talk a little bit about what you have planned for the future. We talked about what to expect from a Doomsday match, but what do you guys have planned for the future? What's in your sort of brain trust right now?
Well, we're working on a holiday special right now, not a live show, obviously, but something we'll put on social media or something like that. Working on that. As far as live show goes, we're probably not going to be doing those until we at least have a better management of this COVID-19 thing. But we will be back one day. I promise. We're not hanging it up. I don't know when we ever will, or if we ever will. Hopefully, this thing will go on after I die. I mean, my daughter's only 16. Seems like she's been 16 for a long time now. So she'll be around for quite a while, even when Tex Lonestar is gone, to carry this family burden around.
No pressure, right? Just keep the family.
Charlie, no pressure.
All right. What are some of the best ways to keep up with the happenings of both yourself and of Doomsday Wrestling? How can people keep up with what you're doing and see what you're doing and keep track of what you're doing?
Okay, just check us out on you can check us out on Instagram at Doomsday Wrestling. On Instagram, you can check me out on Facebook. I'm Tex Lonestar on Facebook. You can check out the Doomsday Wrestling fan page on Facebook. You can check out our website, doomsdaywrestling.com. You can write me at tex@doomsdaywrestling.com if you just want to say hello or if you want to discuss business or recipe ideas. I'm here for you. There's a multitude of ways. And if you Google any of this, it'll come up and direct you to me.
Good old Google.
Absolutely. All right. That sounds good. Michael, you got the last question for us?
The last question. All right. The last question. Is there any message you would like to leave with your fans to end the show?
I'll say I miss you all. It's been a very long time. It's very odd not being able to perform in front of a crowd of people. It's odd not being able to walk around and shake all your hands. I don't know when we'll be able to do that again. But we will be back. We will be back one day, and I miss all of you, and we will be back, and we will be putting on more shows, and you haven't seen anything yet from Doomsday Wrestling. Violence has never been this fun. And I love you. And I love you too, just to let you know.
Well, thank you. We love you too, man. We love you too.
Thank
You know, so Tex, we really appreciate you. We pray good health and happiness for you going forward and for the show, and we're just so excited to see what happens in the future and excited to have everything get back to normal. But until then, Tex, just thank you for being on, man.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me. You broke the monotony of this quarantine I've been in. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure. So, everybody, thank you once again for watching. We will see you next time on the Or Umbrella Podcast. We'll see you later, man.
Goodbye.